I really don't know where to begin with this movie. I thought that they'd outdo the second in terms of like gore and blood and just insane kills. But this movie here is on another level. This times the second and the first one by 10. This movie is beyond disturbing. And all those reports about people fainting and vomiting, it's true because it happened in our theatre. We were at the Australian premiere screening for the movie in our city, and within the first 5 minutes, we heard, "Can we get some help?" And we look behind us and this guy is like stumbling down the stairs and he goes, "I'm just feeling a bit faint." And he walks behind my chair and this dude just drops. You know when UFC fighters get knocked out, they just fold like a noodle? That dude literally folded and hit his head, bang, straight on the ground. And then this other guy lifted him up, dragged him out. So I called 000, walked out the theater. They were asking me questions. What does he look like? All this stuff. Then the cinema staff said, "We'll take care of it. Give him 5 minutes. We'll see." But this dude was not in a good way. And during that, I missed the part of the movie I was most looking forward to, and that was Chris Jericho's scene.
Hi guys!
Missed the entire thing, but hopefully that guy's okay now. And in the last 15 minutes of the movie, we heard another commotion, and we saw this girl run out, and then 2 people run after her and sort of grab her. And this YouTuber, Spooky Astronaut, she was actually in our theater for this movie, and she did a review, and she actually said that this girl hit her head while collapsing, and she had like a cut in her forehead. So it's very real with people passing out and shit. But why go to a movie like this if you know you've got a weak stomach? So there's just a warning. If you don't like blood and gore, this movie turns it up to 1,000,000 and you're gonna be sick. The movie's fucking sickening, alright? So I really don't know where to start with this, but as I said, the gore, it outdoes first and second. The kills in here are fucked, and some of them are not just quick. They are 5-minute scenes, like the bedroom scene in number 2, but they're worse. I never ever thought any scene in movie history would outdo that in terms of disturbing and just fucking being burnt into my brain. But this movie here has about 2 or 3 of them. And I can't describe how disturbing some of these fucking scenes are, but they're bad. They're really bad. And with the bigger budget they had for this one, there's no bad practical effects. It all looks so real, and that makes it even worse. And this ties into my main problem with the movie. The second one really tries to tell an interesting story with Sienna and all this mythical stuff about her dad and her outfit and that sword she has, all that stuff. This one here, we do get a bit more of the backstory, but we only get it for about 20 or so minutes, and it's littered throughout the film. And in between that, Art's just going around just brutally killing anybody. And yes, I understand Terrifier fans, that's what they want. That's all they want, is just to see Art fuck people up. But they were trying to tell a story in the second that was actually really intriguing. And in this one here, when they do tell the story, it is very intriguing. I was very interested. Sienna's character is amazing. And when you start to find out about the ties to her suit and her dad and what's actually going on with Art, is he human, is he possessed, all of this stuff, that was really interesting. But in the build up to that, it's just Art destroying people. And Damien Leone set out in this film to create as many controversial headlines as possible, because they aren't just normal kills. They are so out there and so brutal. And yes, again, I understand that's what Terrifier fans want. He's trying to shock people, I get it, and it definitely worked. But I feel like the story took a backseat here when they needed to tell the story in a bit more detail. And the runtime is only 2 hours, and it's definitely evident that some vital parts to the story and vital scenes involving main characters aren't on screen. They happen off screen, or they just got cut. And I don't know if they're cut so in the 4th one we'll get some explanation, or we'll get a flashback, or we'll get a twist, or whatever. But it just feels like certain scenes were filmed but cut out because they were vital to the story and vital to some of the main characters. And I have no idea how Damien Leone managed to pull off some comedy in here. There is some really funny parts to this movie. Amidst all the terror and the brutality, somehow the movie makes the audience laugh. Like, for a solid 5 minutes there's this one scene where Art's listening into a conversation and the whole audience was dying. It was hilarious. And the fact he managed to litter in some comedy in between all the fucked up bits is an achievement in itself. And this movie will be extremely controversial, just like the other ones, not just for the scenes of brutality and the kills here, but for some of Art's victims. Damien Leone does not give a fuck. Art kills people that normally don't get killed in ways like this in movie. Little people, if you know what I mean. Not little people, but you know what I mean. It is absolutely fucked. Like, there's a few scenes in here where you think Art actually has some redeeming qualities, somehow. The scene in the mall, I'm not going to spoil anything, but you're like, man, what's going on here? Is he changing? And then something so out there happens, I literally covered my face. Like, I could not believe what I just saw. The fact that Leone was like, fuck it, we're putting it in this movie. He's got balls, okay? I gotta give him respect for that, but man, I don't know how he comes up with half of these ideas for these kills, but it's fucked. Get help, man. But for what he's been able to do, that first movie on like a 15-20 grand budget, super impressive. Second movie, crowdfunded on like 120 grand budget, something like that. And I think they've gotten 2 million here. And you can definitely tell the difference in quality, but it's an achievement. He's managed to make this killer clown into a multi-million-dollar franchise, and good on him. But man, this one here, I can't get over how disturbing this was. Like, I did not think they'd be able to outdo 2. The bedroom scene in particular, but that is nothing compared to this. That's a cakewalk compared to this. All the performances were great. Sienna was amazing. As I said, her character is so interesting, and I just wish we had a bit more backstory with that. She definitely has some really good moments in this film. Art is art. David Howard Thornton, his performance is amazing as always. This silent clown, he just brings so much charisma to it. It's cooked. The girl from the first one, I forget her name, she's like Art's sidekick in this one. She's great as well. All the performances were really good. All the characters were written well. But as I said, it was just missing a bit more story. They were just clearly going for a pure shock factor movie, and not enough story in my opinion. They just needed a bit more. The end of this movie leaves it open for a 4th. I'll definitely be going to see it. I'm really interested to see how this story progresses, and I just don't understand how they're going to be able to top this one in terms of the kills. Without spoilers, it's super hard to explain how brutal this film was, but as I said, 2 people literally passed out in our theater. Saw that shit online about people passing out and stuff. It's very real because I fucking witnessed it with my own eyes. I did like this film, but I couldn't rewatch it. I just want to see what happens to Jericho. That's the only part I want to rewatch. I don't think I could sit through this film again. Like, it was too brutal for me. Like, it was fucked. And every time I watch movies like this, I remember there's 30 people behind the camera. It's fake. There's makeup artists. They're actors. No. But this film disturbed the fuck out of me. So it is a good film in terms of a Terrifier movie. It's brutal. He takes so many risks. Damien Leone doesn't give a fuck what he puts on screen, and it's evident here. People are passing out. The movie's hectic, absolutely hectic. So I'm gonna give this film a 6.5 out of 10. So if you've dared to see this film, let me know what you think, and thanks always for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.